From the studios in Bentonville, Arkansas, you're listening to Ethan Walton's Retail Supplier Podcast. Each week, we discuss the issues facing Walmart suppliers and bring you solutions from industry experts. Visit us online at ethanwalton.com if you have questions about today's podcast. And now your host, Jared Davis.
It's great to be back with you again. We have got another great show for you today, so let's dig right into it. As you know, Walmart recently announced its next phase of RFID tagging requirements, and it's expanding the initiative to more departments. Now, if you're a Walmart supplier, maybe you've been notified that you have to have RFID tags on your items, but you need more information on how to get started, or you need to know what Walmart really expects, or what kind of tag is right for your items. Well, this podcast is just for you. Mike Graen is joining us again. He was our guest for Walmart's last RFID rollout, and he's back not only with new information about this next phase, but he's conducting a new series of RFID seminars for Walmart suppliers. In fact, I've got a link to the seminar page out in our podcast description, or you can look for details at ethanwalton.com. They'll be listed under our class section. So we're going to talk today about the upcoming seminars. We're going to talk about Mike's background and his experience with RFID, the details of Walmart's expansion of the program, and so much more. We've got a lot to cover on this show. So, Mike, thank you so much for taking time to join us today, sir.
Well, Jared, thank you very much for having me. I really do appreciate your time.
Let's kick things off with kind of a quick refresher for any new Walmart suppliers or anyone who missed the last podcast. What is RFID and how's it used in retail?
Yeah, RFID is a acronym for radio frequency identification. A lot of people think it's fairly new technology, but it's been really around actually since World War II. Every time you go into a hotel room, you use a card or a key to get into the hotel room. Typically, that's an RFID tag. You'll see tags used in the airline industry to track your baggage to make sure it makes it onto the right plane. And certainly toll roads, if you've got through a toll road or a car wash lately, they typically have an RFID that they'll put inside your car. And it will allow you to go in and either pass through the toll without paying cash for it, takes it out of your account, or car washes, et cetera. In retail is fairly new to the scene. And when I say new, I'm probably talking within the last 15 to 20 years. And they do use RFID at retail for several things. Number one, on-hand accuracy, knowing exactly what you have and where it's located. There are retailers out there that are using it for theft, to be able to actually know what have left the store from a theft perspective that didn't get paid for. And then there's a lot of suppliers who are using it up the supply chain to dispute claims or things like that. So it's basically a small tag that can be read with a reader. It doesn't have power to it, but it basically allows us to know what we have and where it's located within the retail supply chain.
Now, last year when you and I were talking about the previous Walmart RFID rollout, they had just announced making it mandatory for a few departments, but they had a pretty aggressive timeline last year. Tell us about the new phase and Walmart's new expectations.
Yeah, they've definitely going to continue down what I would call the general merchandise part of the building. They started with apparel and then went into some general merchandise like home, electronics, toys, sporting goods, and automotive, specifically tires and batteries, et cetera. They were very aggressive on their first iteration of this. And this time they've changed it a little bit. Now they're talking about departments like the Department 19 crafts department, entertainment departments like media and gaming, cameras and supplies, books, and some additional hardline categories like stationery, automotive, hardware, paint, and lawn and garden. And they're basically asking for everything coming into the stores, not the DCs, but to the stores on or before February 1st of 2024. So they're basically giving the suppliers a full year from the time that they made their request until tag product is coming into the store. And I think it should make it a lot easier for suppliers to be able to meet that deadline.
Mike, I know when Walmart announced this new phase, you immediately started getting questions from suppliers because you've been working with RFID for years. So for our new listeners, remind us a little bit of your background with RFID and what kind of questions are you getting from suppliers today?
Yeah, Jared, I've been involved with, working with Walmart for literally over 40 years. I started out with Procter & Gamble, working very closely here in Northwest Arkansas with them. on a lot of different platforms like Retail Link and electronic data interchange, et cetera. In about 2003, we actually worked with them on the first RFID implementation, which is RFID at the case and pallet level. So we could literally just track product throughout the supply chain at between P&G and Walmart. And they rolled that out to the top 100 suppliers. 2000, call it 10, left P&G, joined Walmart, and I was responsible with a great team of associates to roll out RFID for apparel, some electronics, automotive tires, and some toys area. And we did that until about 2015 when there was a patent litigation lawsuit that caused Walmart to hit a pause on that effort. So I left Walmart, and then a couple of years later, that particular litigation was over. So they asked me to rejoin. I joined as a contractor and was very actively involved with their apparel rollout in 2019 and 20. And then obviously the expansion to automotive in 2021. So I've been involved with this for about 20, 25 years. So when folks find out that there's a new department that Walmart is interested in, I typically get a couple phone calls from people saying, hey, I've got a couple of friends over in the Department 11 area that we really need your help, so they connect me directly to them. I've been very fortunate to be able to work very closely with 8th and Walton and have them to be able to provide this platform. I'm obviously doing the training and some of the guidance that provided, but we're using all of the capabilities of the 8th and Walton company to facilitate and make this training available to suppliers.
Yeah, so let's talk about that for a second. For any Walmart supplier who's impacted by the new RFID rollout, you're going to be hosting a series of online seminars to answer all their questions, walk them through the process, and go over Walmart's requirements. What are some of the things that suppliers are going to learn when they sign up for a seminar?
Yeah, we're going to do, basics of RFID. First off, it's kind of three components. Number one, what is RFID? How does it work? Why is it important for the suppliers? What the expectations are, et cetera. Secondly, we're going to specifically talk about the expectation that Walmart has for completely tagging every one of your products that are in scope by the February 2024 deadline. How do you do that? What are the steps for success? How do you encode a tag? How do you construct an RFID tag? How do you apply it? We work very closely with Auburn University and GS1 in terms of making sure that suppliers are choosing the right tags, encoding them correctly, applying them correctly before you begin a mass tagging effort at your facilities. And lastly, it's key factors like, what could go wrong? What are the things that are potentially going to go wrong? How do you talk to your senior leadership about the value proposition for that, et cetera? So there'll be a series of 2-hour webinars or training classes, if you will, that you'll be able to attend and ask lots of questions and get a lot of information about how to get started. If the 2-hour training is not good enough and you need literally some project management or some help connecting with some of these RFID tag suppliers or hardware providers, et cetera, step one is going to be providing some of those services for those. So it's really a two-part, which is the seminar. And if that's not enough, we got some additional resources that would be helpful for a supplier to be able to execute against this.
Mike, this is probably going to be the first time that a lot of suppliers have had to consider RFID tagging. So what are some of the benefits of RFID, not only for suppliers, but also for their customers?
Probably the most important thing is, Walmart is definitely a brick and mortar retailer. You can go in and find the product you're looking for and purchase it, et cetera. But they're moving more and more and making a service available to customers that allow you to be able to get merchandise from the store online and either have it delivered to your car or delivered to your home if you want to use the Walmart in home. Part of the challenge of them doing that is on-hand accuracy in a store for a store item, particular store item, maybe only 50 or 60% accurate. So I think I have 5 of something, but I don't have any of that particular product. So RFID basically uses that technology to correct the on-hands and let the Walmart associates know where that inventory is. So it reduces things like ghost inventory. It makes the inventory more accurate. It makes sure your products are available on the shelf where the customer wants to buy them or the online associate can pick them. And a lot of people are very, very pleased with the increase in sales that they get with the RFID implementation. So those are some of the benefits. And basically the model is, Walmart asks the suppliers to put the tags on, and they invest in the labor and the hardware and the software and the technology to read those tags and correctly update the on-hand and let the associates know where that is so they can better meet the customer needs.
So, Mike, for Walmart suppliers who are looking at that February deadline and who've got to start planning their RFID tagging this year, what's a realistic timeline for beginning your RFID tagging to being fully compliant in a store?
Well, that'll certainly vary based upon the supplier, the number of SKUs, where those SKUs are coming from, et cetera. Here's what I would tell you. Walmart's giving you a year from the time they've told you to the time they expect it. Product to be tagged to the store, it will take you that long. From the time you get alignment with your senior leadership to move forward and how we're going to do this, et cetera, till you go work with Auburn and take these training classes and maybe have us help you with some of these things. The reason they're giving you a year is because what their experience has been is it typically takes a year. Because again, if they want to have tagged product coming into the store, and you're manufacturing the product over in Asia, you got to tag it over there, and then it takes a long time to actually get through the Walmart supply chain, over the ocean, through the distribution centers into the stores. And that data from February is when they want 100% of the tagged product coming in. That doesn't mean starting and stopping stuff coming in. That means consistently flowing RFID tagged product that are coming into the store. So get started as quickly as possible. This is not, we got a year. We'll wait 6 months, because my guess is you'll probably not be able to meet the timing expectations if you get started too late.
And like we've been saying, a great way to get started is to check out the upcoming RFID seminars hosted by Mike Graen. Go out to our podcast description. I've got a link there, or just visit us at ethanwalton.com, and we've got the RFID seminars listed under our classes. Mike, thank you so much for the great information today, sir.
Thank you very much. Have a great day.